am my own special creation. So come take a look, give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each sparkle and each bangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck, sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. It's one life and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. I'm what I am.
Morning, everybody. Good morning. Some Sundays I start out with a joke, and I want to remind people that it isn't meant for anybody in particular. And to not take it personally, and to not be offended. So why do I do a joke, you ask? I do a joke because sometimes when we say we're going to church, it's a little heavy and a little serious. And I really believe that God has a sense of humor. Right? How many of you put a line in the sand and he laughs? Right? That whole thing. Right? So here's today's joke, and remember not to take it personally. A little silver-haired lady calls her neighbor and says, please come over and help me. I have a killer jigsaw puzzle, and I can't figure out on how I can get started. Her neighbor asks, well, what is it supposed to be when it's finished? The little silver-haired lady says, according to the picture on the box, it's a rooster. Her neighbor decides to go over and help with the puzzle. She lets him in and shows him where she has the puzzle spread out all over the table. He studies the pieces for a moment, then looks at the box, then turns to her and says, first of all, no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to assemble these pieces into anything resembling a rooster. He takes her hand and says, secondly, I want you to relax. Let's have a nice cup of tea. And then he said with a deep sigh, let's put all the cornflakes back in the box. So today's I Am What I Am is Gloria Gaynor. So we are in week 4 of a 7-part series on I am statements that Jesus made in the book of John, hence the song. And the real part of the reason I chose this song for 7 weeks, the same song, besides the fact that I love the beat and I'm singing it all week long, especially about cleaning out your closet. But the point being is that I want you to remember that your I am is the aspect of who you are based on your conscious thinking. So I want to put that in, instill that in our minds when we use the statement, I am ... Make sense? Okay. Happy Mother's Day for all of us that espouse to that thinking. You know, it's one of the more successful Hallmark days of all that there is, which is good. So for all of us, no exceptions, talk to your mothers today. Or talk to your mothers. And if you don't know who your mother is, talk to that special caretaker in your life, that one that instilled in you some balance in your life. So that's part of it. So today's Daily Word, the Daily Word is a bi-monthly publication that Unity Worldwide Headquarters puts out, and it is a blessing for mothers. So let us get still. Let us just take this moment so that we can hear the words that are being said and to be in a place of open and receptivity. I bless all mothers with thoughts of gratitude. There's nothing quite like a mother's love, so nurturing, caring, and warm. Today I bless the woman in my life who expresses this love in all they do. Whether it's the woman who raised me or any of the other women I know who so generously shared a mother's love. I have felt the care of God through their tender touch and encouraging words. Over the years, I've grown strong and confident under their kind direction and have relied upon their wisdom. The divine feminine flourishes on earth in the loving words and caring hands of mothers and all those who share a mother's love. I bless them and pray they know the love of God as they have shared it so generously with me. From 2 Kings, verse 4:30, then the mother of the child said, as the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave without you. I bless all mothers with thoughts of gratitude. And so it is. Amen. Let us stand for our congregational song. It's a familiar one from our traditional Unity hymnal, and it's called I Am Free and Unlimited.
All right, so this is a really old song, and it didn't used to have a swing, but we put a swing on. 1, 2. I'm unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited. Right now, right now. Come on in. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited. Right now, free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited. Right now, right now. I am free. I am unlimited.
Miss Mary, take the helm. Mary Turgis, our platform sister.
There we go. I've never been announced before. Thank you. The power for the month of May is power. Information is on the screen, and if you would please say the affirmation along with me. My Christ consciousness is the almighty power forever flowing through me and all humanity. Today is community membership orientation. If you've ever wondered what is involved in becoming a member here at Unity, today after the service right here in the sanctuary for about 15 minutes, they will go through that information with you so you know what is involved. Out in the narthex are sign-up sheets for the next spirit group. It's going to be starting June 4th, and the book they'll be using is Rich Life, Holy Life by Richard Schumacher. The book is available in the bookstore for $20 for those that are enrolled in the spirit group, so be sure and pick one up. If you don't have it on your calendar marked, mark it. June 11th, Donna's concert after service for 2 hours. We are going to party. Donna, we raised the roof the last concert that she had here, Dancing in the Aisles. It is a party. And we are looking at talking with Tracy and Reverend Mo about having food beforehand so you'll have energy to eat, to dance. So June 11th from 11:30 to 1:30, Donna will be singing for an hour, and then she's gonna turn the mic available for karaoke. So either individually or in groups. If you let Donna know, she'll make sure she has your song available for you. Outreach Sunday is next Sunday. And Donna in the back, yes. So remember to bring your gently used clothing, household items, or non-perishable foods for the outreach. It is so important and so needed in our area. Anything you can get, whether it's a buy one, get one, and you give one. Maybe it's a buy one, give one, not buy one, get one. We have a prayer box in the back. It's on the back counter before you on the right-hand side. There are prayer slips there and pens available for you to write down your prayer request. They will be picked up after the service today by our chaplain, George Neal. The chaplains will then pray over the slips, and then they're sent to Silent Unity for additional 30 days of prayer. Now, as we know, Unity believes in the power of affirmative prayer. When completing the slip, we invite you to affirm what you want more of in your life, rather than fixating or focusing on an issue at hand. Example, if you're not feeling well, you want to feel better. So you might affirm perfect healing and health for your body. If you're overwhelmed with too much to do, we might affirm clarity or seeing things in a new light. What we give our attention to is what grows. So we might as well affirm and give our attention to what we want, not what we don't want. There's an opportunity also after the service to have an individual prayer with one of our prayer chaplains who are wearing the purple stoles. They will be up front with you and available for any individual prayer that you would like. Thank you.
Where we lend ourselves over for some quiet time. And I'm fully aware that for some folks, this is a highlight of the service, and for others, are we done yet? And I know the difference. So for this moment of time, if you'd be so kind as to give yourself over to this quiet time. I invite you to put both feet on the ground, to feel the energy that the earth provides, and to also just open your palms in an outer expression of being open and receptive to this energy field. For it is said that within everything is energy. So we allow that energy to be felt. And one of the fastest way to feel that energy is through our own individual gratitude. To be aware that there is an energy field, and that energy field is good. And we are grateful to know that we can tap into that source at any time. So we gently close our outer eyes and allow our inner eye to be wide open and receptive to the wonderful, the goodness, and the beauty of all that is around us. So I want you to call to mind right now, in this gentle, quiet time, your personal caretaker when you were a child. Bring that person or persons to the light of your inner eye. And symbolically give gratitude for someone giving of their time, their love, their energy to just love you just the way you are. For you are who you are. And we allow ourselves to feel that love,
leaving us and embracing that spirit in front of you. For in blessing our caretakers, we change the energy field in our bodies. We become more clear on our purpose for being here. For our purpose is to love unconditionally, no matter what outer appearances may look like. Some of us had tumultuous relationships with this individual, but we let all that go because it is irrelevant right now. We just espouse to a gratitude, an awareness, and a position to say, thank you. Thank you for all you did for me, all that you did for our household. For there is nothing quite like the love of our caretakers. So we give ourselves pause now to go into the silence and to ask a question, to ask the spirit within you, that source, that divine energy in you, to ask, how can I be more loving today? Simple request. How can I be more loving today? That might look like being in a grocery store line and seeing a female in front of us and just say, Happy Mother's Day. It could be picking up the phone and calling your neighbor and saying Happy Mother's Day. Whatever the guidance brings to you, we know that you are prepared to follow that exact guidance. For you always have the tools you need to follow up with the guidance of God. And I invite you now to listen to that guidance. How can I be more loving today? What can I do? And allow that intuitive voice within you to bring forth the task that is espoused for you to do. And in our own special way, let's give gratitude for this moment to just be still. And so it is. Amen. Amen.
stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am love. 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 I am peace. I am love.
I just want to give a real quick shout out to a couple of things that are going on in our ministry that are behind the scenes. So I would like a Mr. Peter Knack to stand up. He's in the back there, if you'd be so kind. What you don't know, he's done. Thank you, Peter. What you don't know is that he's gotten rid of all the wires. Now, only those that notice it would see the difference, and I'm grateful if you never noticed. But we had like 5 extension cords going up here for 4 items. It was like, it's got to be a better way. So he has really taken a look at it, and it's seamless. Thank you, and we have a few more things to take care of, and he's got it under control. So I appreciate that. And the other thing is that today's a special day. Again, behind the scenes, you'd never know it. Well, we have 2 wonderful ladies in the sound booth that are working by themselves without the experienced team. And they're doing fabulous, doing great. Yeah. And so it's all good, all good. We got things cooking, which is awesome. So as I mentioned, we're in week 4 of a 7-part series of I am statements that Jesus made in the book, according to the book of John. And so this particular week is tails off right where we left off last week with the sheep and the goats and the shepherd and the negative thoughts and how we have to steady the course to keep the innocent thoughts in our forefront rather than those negative things that bring us below the line behavior. And when we have this behavior that's below the line, I know none of you have ever been defensive, committed to being right, or closed. But if you were, you would be below the line. And so the theory is, and I obviously believe it's more than a theory, is that when we have this kind of behavior in our lives, below the line, it closes off and creates a separation between us and God. We feel that God somehow has abandoned us, or we feel that there's a void somewhere. But when we practice living our lives above the line, committed to learning, curious and open and receptive, our communication with God somehow is strengthened. You know, it's like we don't need God until we need it, and then we don't have a relationship, right? So my function is to continue to espouse that idea that to be curious and to be open and receptive to what God has in store for us. Because I believe that whatever is in store for us, it's good. It will lead us to something wonderful. If we could just get out of the way and to let that happen. And that's the human element of us, the mortal mind, that creates obstacles for us experiencing really good things in our lives. I know some of you have some drama going on in your life. Now, drama's not necessarily negative. It only becomes negative if we go on. You know what I mean? You know? So it's okay to have a bad day. It's not okay to have a bad month on the same thing, right? So life gave you lemons, you know, or whatever, however you want to espouse to that, or a bad banana and you ate it. The point being is that, wouldn't it be nice to have good drama in our lives? Like you walk around and go, you won't believe what happened to me today. Oh my God, I can't wait to share it first. You won't believe what happened to me today. Right? You see, the energy is different. The energy is different. And so we have that opportunity with this particular lesson today. So we're still in the book of John, chapter 10. Great chapter. You know, it's just like, holy moly chapter. And even in this chapter is where the verse comes, which we're not going to talk about, but it says, I and my Father are one. This is where it comes from, chapter 10. I and my Father are one. We are connected. Whether we realize it or not is irrelevant. We're still connected. Nothing changes because you don't know or don't espouse to it. Doesn't matter. But I and the Father are one. There is no disconnect from that. So we're reading from chapter 10 in John, and we've left the story with the verse last week is, I should have done this. I am the door to our thoughts. Last week, we either have sheep thoughts, which are positive, inspirational, moving energy in a good way, while we also have the goat thoughts, which brings us down and they're heavy. And so Jesus is espousing to that you're in charge of that I am door. You get to control what goes in that door. You know, and that's the conscious part. So much of what Unity teaches is being conscious of what's going on and how you want to make it different. Because the human experience over thousands of years has developed this pattern that may not necessarily be good. And so it's our job to change the pattern into something above the line rather than below the line. So it reads from here. It starts in verse 10, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. That's the I am statement. I am the good shepherd. Now, in Unity, we have a terminology book that is just a lifeline, and it's called the Revealing Word. I definitely encourage you to have possession of this. It is modern terms that are used that Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders, dug into these words in the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Latin version of these words and came up with what the writer meant by using that word. So why do we even bother teaching this? Because we don't view the Bible as and taking it literally. We view it as a metaphysical interpretation of our human experience. So metaphysics, short version of the word, is to take a word and break it down into applicable measures for our lives. So what I want to share with you is the word sheep. What I want to share with you is the word shepherd. What does shepherd mean metaphysically? And this is what Charles Fillmore has determined. The shepherds watching by night are the protective entities of God that watch over us. They are the conservers and protectors. To affirm Jehovah is my shepherd, we're familiar with that verse in the 23rd Psalm, is to acknowledge that God, Spirit, is the source of understanding and of all help. Shepherd, the one that watches in the dark, the one that takes us into the wilderness and still keeps an eye on us, the Spirit of God. And so if Jesus is the good shepherd, I am the good shepherd, he's affirming that he's mindful of what's going in and what's going out of his mind. And he's asking us to do the same. If we go back to last week, the shepherd thoughts or the goat thoughts, what's going on? And when we can settle in enough quiet time when things are rocky, especially in our thinking, we can go, okay, I am the good shepherd. I am mindful of what's going in and what's going out. Is there a shift that needs to take place? And it's interesting, in the same chapter, the Jews get around Jesus and they surround him and say, could you just tell us plainly, are you the one or not? And he would never answer that question. Why not? Why not just face up? You're the one. Because he wasn't. And he knew it. He knew that what he had, each of us could have as well. He just perfected it into a realm of clarity and walked the earth to figure this out. And I was imagining going, if I lived in Jerusalem and I had a 3-day walk, because many times you hear him say he rested for 3 days, or that part of going up into the mountain, which is a higher state of consciousness, another metaphysical term. When we read in the Bible that he went up into a high mountain, he's going into meditation. He's rejuvenating his body and his mind to no longer take the negative thoughts. We know what it's like when we hang out with negative people. We get tired. We get like, I think I need to leave now, Because it takes the life force from us. I remember when I first got into Unity and was hearing all of this language, and I, like some of you, walked into a Unity church, and that was it. I mean, I did every church activity. I was one of those that opened, closed. I just immersed myself totally in it, to the point where I had no friends that were not part of Unity. A little closed off. I mean, a reality check when I did leave Unity. Not everybody thought like I did. Right? And so when I first got into Unity and I was being espoused with all of this truth, and boy, I would just yawn, I'd be tired, I'd be like falling asleep as somebody's talking, and I'd had enough sleep, and I had to really ask one day from someone who I trusted, and I said, I get real tired. And they went, yeah, you're on overload. You can't take any more truth in because you haven't assimilated it. That made so much more sense to me versus, this is boring. Oh my God, why can't I stay awake? And I would just fall asleep. I slept through most of my classes. It didn't mean I didn't learn. I just slept through them. And I remember this one teacher, oh, God bless her. She stared at me the whole time I was sleeping. Just, and I'm dozing, in a class, in the front row so no one else can see me. And then I felt this pain in my heart. I felt this overwhelming pain, and I woke up, and she's standing right in front of me, staring at me. Well, that woke me up, because she wanted me to get it. She didn't want me to sleep through my awakening, But the truth is, I know that I was still taking in what was being said at my level of understanding. And I say that in case you're about to doze off. And I don't take it personally because it has nothing to do with me. I'm a dynamic speaker. If you want to sleep through it, you go ahead. It ain't nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? So if you want to sleep, it's okay if that happens. Keep the snoring down to a minimum so you don't disturb your neighbors. But the point being is that Jesus is saying, I am the good shepherd. I am watching what I am attaching my I am to. I am mindful of it. So for him to say that he is the one would have minimized our awareness that what he did, we can also do. It was important that he not be the one. He is simply an individual that figured it out. And our job is to figure it out. And part of this lesson is to really fully understand that we are individuals on this journey. Some figure out one aspect of their life better than others. Prosperity would be a good example. Some people don't have a problem with money. It just comes to them. And you're like, how does that happen? Right? Some of us have wonderful relationships. Been in the same relationship going on 70th anniversary. Oh my God. How do they do that? Yeah. So we each have little pockets of behavior that we need to look at and to strengthen that area. And that's where prayer comes in. You know, we each know the little areas that bug us the most, that we seem to have not been able to master. And Jesus, being the master, figured it out. But he also had to leave this plane of understanding in order for the rest of us to get a handle on. We need to do that too. So although I love the Bible, I'm not a Bible scholar on any level, nor would I ever even pretend to be. So when people ask me, I was going to say a bad thing, so I'm changing my mind. So I don't espouse to being a Bible scholar. Yes, I'm a unity minister, but the Bible speaks to me in different ways. And I invite you to pursue the Bible a little bit, especially the New Testament. Although the Old Testament has some really good stuff in there, especially on the metaphysical plane. You know, there's so much stuff in there. So we're just focusing on John, who was an esoteric kind of guy. But my point being is that Charles Filmer interprets this particular Bible verse as this. And the other part of this Bible verse is that he lays down his life for his sheep. What does that mean? You're going to lay down and die for your sheep? That seems probably not a good use of resources, right? But what he's saying is that he's willing to take a look, the sheep, his positive thoughts. He's willing to do what his guidance tells him to do. And if his guidance tells him to lay down his life, which of course he did, then he will do so. We know of situations where people gave their lives over for something that was important to them. And when that happens, there's a sense of loss and a sense of almost feel like, why would you do that? When we follow the will and guidance of God, it always leads to our highest possible good. That's why when you're in a state of prayer, you always end the prayer with, if not this, then something better. You see the difference? Because we all have desires in our lives. We all want something more. And I'm hoping it's not the tangible things, but the intangible things that we want more of in our lives. And so when we're in a prayer state of mind and we're speaking to God, source, whatever you want to call that individual identity within you, it's then that we say, I trust you, God. I am a good steward of your guidance. So this is my prayer request. If not this, then something even better. Because we don't have all the answers, do we? Oh, God, we want to have all the answers. That's probably one of our biggest prayers. Help me figure this out, blank, blank, blank. Whatever it is. And while we're trying to figure it out, God's tapping on our head going, hello, is there anybody home? Because that guidance is constantly being given to us, but we're so used to not listening, not opening our eyes to see that guidance, because we think we know what it is. And as the saying goes, you don't know diddly squat. If you did, you'd be doing it. So when we're in the question of what it is we are to do in any particular situation, we ask God for help, right? And Jesus is saying, I'm the good steward. I'm the door. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm giving my I am attention to, because when we say, I am tired, your body goes into the state of, oh, she's tired. And it gets tired. Because our I am is source. It's the tool with which we guide everything that happens in our lives. And the fun part is that I am has a very strong voice that doesn't talk. It's what goes on in our heads. And our bodies will respond to it. Our body's function is to listen to what we give it attention to. And it will always answer the call. Always. So what you attach your I am to is your door, and if you want to be the good shepherd, it's really important that we pay attention to what we're attaching our I am to. And it comes real subtly. It's 2 simple words, 3 letters, I am, and we get to add after it. So Charles Fillmore tells us this. He says, the good shepherd laid down his life for the sheep. This means that the high spiritual I am lets itself become identified with the limitations of self-consciousness that it may lift it up into the spiritual plane. See, the I am a good shepherd knows that we have a mortal mind that says things that are not quite true about us. I love Garth Brooks' song, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. You know? Because if God had answered all of our prayers, we'd be in a pickle. Because we pray for some of the things that, no. We don't want to give our attention to that stuff. You know, boy, I wish that neighbor next door would be quiet. Oh, you sure? Yeah. So we attach our I am to only what we want to have happen in our lives. We never attach our I am to someone else. Because we're all on an individual journey. So in your prayer work, when you're praying for somebody else, you visualize what it is they want more of in their lives. Very big. That's the power of prayer. Are you praying and visualizing for what you want more of in your life? You know, I kid around that, Unity 101 is seeing good things coming in the mail and parking spots wherever you go. Right? That's Unity 101. And those are beautiful things. You envision that perfect spot waiting for you. I live with this wonderful person that's absolutely sure there will not be a spot over and over and over again. And I'm in the car going, you know what? We've been together a long time. Could you stop that? There is a perfect and right spot. He said, oh, that's your job. And she's right. So that energy in the car creates havoc with the universe. The universe is like, we got this one person saying there's going to be a parking spot. We got another person saying there's no way. We're going to have to walk a mile. You can't force another person. You can be a presence. Please do that. But I am a perfect child of God. What a good steward you are. What a good shepherd to know that truth about you. I am a wonderful child of God. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to say that? If you're a wonderful child of God, you wouldn't feel separated from God ever. You see that? You would know that when something unpleasant happens in our lives, you know that this is moving you to a higher expression of who you are. And the drama is minimized. Yep, got to go get that fixed. Move on. Right? It's huge. So this I am, let me finish. I keep interrupting myself. When we open the door of the mind by consciously affirming the presence and power of the divine I am in the midst, there is a marriage of union of the higher forces in being with the lower, and we find that we are quickened in every part. Now, in today's language, in my language, Charles Fillmore is saying that when we are conscious of our behavior going below the line, we have a window of opportunity to go above the line. And it all boils down to Jesus knew that we have mortal minds that sometimes go off track. He went off track on times. He turned the tables upside down, for God's sakes. Right? And he wept. He had the human element within him, and our consciousness will marry the two, and it's up to us to stay above that line. And the only way we can do that on a consistent basis is to use your I am faculty to espouse to wanting to be up there. I am committed to learning. I am open and receptive. I am curious. You stay in that state of mind and wonderful things will happen to you. You're no longer upset with somebody who seemingly does something to you because you realize, it's not to me. No one and nothing is against me. I'm a child of God. No one can hurt me. And it's like this impenetrable shield goes around us, and only love gets in. Can you visualize that energy field? It's like when Jesus had somebody touch the hem of his garment. How did he know that? He's in a crowd, for God's sakes. People are pushing and shoving all the time, and yet he feels this woman touch the hem of his garment because he feels the energy flow from him. He's consciously aware of it, of that loss of energy. But he looks and sees that his energy has gone where it needs to go versus being a leakage of energy. You know, it doesn't mean that the negative people in our lives we have to kick out, although I have many times stood here and said that. And said, you know what? Let go of those things that no longer serve you, especially the people. Right? Because we know what it's like to hang around with somebody who's drama queen. You know, I saw this cartoon of the little drummer boy, the Christmas drummer boy, you know, little guy, and he says, I'm so tired of doing this, it just thinks, and it's called the drama boy. What a difference. I had a visualization of it, it popped out, and I went, oh my God, can you imagine how different that would be? I don't want to go play the drums, it's midnight, God's sakes, right? We all have people in our lives that rub us a little bit, right? So, does unity teach for you to let go of those people? Maybe. But more importantly, what if you accepted them just the way they are and didn't take it personally? Didn't have a leakage of energy. You see for them what they can't see for themselves. That's a good use of your stewardship, your shepherdness, your I am faculty. If you are a good steward, would you not want to see the love and light in another person? Of course, we say intellectually, we say, yeah. But when the time comes, I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, get me out of here, Satan. Right? Because in some factions of unity, we think it's not okay to hang out with negative people. I get where that comes from. I understand that. But this is our window of opportunity to be above the line and to look at them in God's eyes and love them just the way they are. Being a good steward of your I am, because when you say, I am tired of that person, the energy, wow, yeah. So being a good shepherd is watching ourselves in how we espouse to our I am, but also how do we use that I am with others? What are we attaching to them? It's more than just physical, I got a backache. It has more to do with, I am a good steward. I am a good shepherd. I espouse to love only. I am a loving child of a loving God, and that means we love each other totally, in all of our goosiness. I am what I am. And there ain't no way around it. You are right where you're supposed to be on your spiritual path. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And we move along that path. We take 2 steps forward in our understanding, and then we muck it up a little bit and take a step back. Take 2 steps forward, take 1 back, but you're always moving forward in your spiritual understanding. Always. And so I want to give you an opportunity to practice this. So, how many of you are right-handed? Quite a few. Did you notice only 2 people raised their hands over here? See? I was asked a very good question. today coming in, and it was very simple. I noticed that I always sit on the left-hand side, and I happen to be left-handed. Maybe just the left-handed people sit over here. How many of you are left-handed? See? There's some truth to all that. Because the left brain is intellectual, is stronger intellectually. They use that part of their brain more often than the right brain. There's no right or wrong in it, while the right brain uses more of our feminine aspects, more of our feeling nature. You know, these folks are analyzing everything I'm saying. Over here, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. And so that's why speakers are taught to move from one side of the stage to the other so that they feel connected. Because my intuition, my automatic style is to stand right here and whatever, talk to you guys. You see? So I proved my theory. So all of you that are right-handed, I'm going to do this homework assignment with your less dominant hand. Okay? All I want you to do is take out a single sheet of paper. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Okay? Not a 2-inch by 3. An 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I want you to get out a pen, preferably a pencil, because then when you write down what you really don't want, you can erase it. Because if you take a pen and you cross over it, it gives it energy. See? But if you erase it and put what it is, so your homework is to write, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that's lined. 8.5 by 11 that's lined. Get out a sheet of paper. And I want you to write one statement each line that says, I am something. I am, and you fill in the blank. One page. If you write something down that you realize that isn't what I espouse to at all, erase it. Let the free thought go through. Try not to judge it, and it'll be amazing what hits the paper. You'll reach a plateau at some point. Breathe. God is my source. Continue writing. Sit down with it. Use your I am. See what it is you're attached to. What is it? Because remember, you might write some things down that I'm not educated. If that comes up, you write it down. Now you know what to look for. You're becoming conscious of what's going on up here. Now you know where to make the changes. So don't judge it too harshly, because you are who you are, but who you are is an evolving species with changes coming, with a different clarity and a different mindset, the curiosity part. Jeepers. Okay, so I didn't graduate from high school. That might be a fact. I am uneducated. Wouldn't it be better if we said, I am wise? Everyone in here is wise. So if you end up writing, I am uneducated, that's okay. You can erase the uneducated part because you've got a clarity. I do think that way. And you get to change your mind. So don't be too harsh on yourself. It's an awareness factor. To become aware of where you attach your I am and which ones of those I am are below the line that need a little bit revision, a little more tweaking, because it'll start changing who you are within that consciousness. So let it flow and then go back and edit, because your mind is a beautiful thing, right? The mind says, I am uneducated, and then you go, wait a second, I don't want that to be my truth. And you erase it, and you put, I am wise, right? Your mind has just changed. Your mind has just changed. And anytime you hear anybody else saying, I'm uneducated, you're probably going to jump in and correct them. No, you're wise. You're one of the wisest people I know. Oh, but I don't have it at high school. Yeah, but you're still wise. You see? It changes our minds. Because you are wise. You are a loving child of God and have total access to changing who you are, one word at a time. I am, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper lined, and I suggest you do it in the next 24 hours because it has more impact. If you wait till Wednesday, you're like, what did she tell me to do again? Never mind. I know, I've done it myself. I am, and you fill in the blank, and fill that whole sheet of paper, and read it a couple times a day. See what happens. Not to mention you'll be doing an affirmative statement, hello, and you might need to tweak a few negative statements. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a tweaking world, right? God bless you, and I am who I am, and so are you. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys. This is the time in our service where we turn over our gifts and our love offerings. If you're a first-timer with us today, we want you to know that you're our guest and that no love offering is expected from our guest as we're giving to you today. We have an affirmation on the screen, our offertory prayer together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you, Fran.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power, over the mountains. I send my power, over the sea. I send my power, into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea.
Thank you. Let's do our offertory blessing together, and this time we're going to use the pronouns us and we. Divine love, as us, blesses and multiplies all that I are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive, and we are grateful. And we see these blessings going forth out into the universe to not only bless our community, but to also bless the many hands that these wonderful gifts espouse to. And for that, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. Amen. I want to welcome our guests with us today. And if you're comfortable, I was reminded to say if you're comfortable, please stand and so that we can bless you for being with us today. Yeah. Oh, you can be the only one. Go on, stand up, it's cool. We have one on the other side. So let's give a blessing for this wonderful person that's with us today. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is, amen. And I hope you'll join us in our community room for a cup of coffee and a Danish. And with that, why don't we stand for our peace song and our prayer for protection.